What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we're going to talk about the Arizona extreme heat, as you will see right here on Pinal County's website. So, extreme heat expected to get worse in Arizona. So we're going to talk about basically the narrative that's existing in the media, where they keep telling people that Arizona is just getting hotter and hotter and blah 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 blah. We're going to kind of check facts on that. See if they're propaganda, if it's true, if it's real, if it's just whatever it is. But anyway, you can see right here, May 1st, 2018. This was obviously 1 year ago. They were preparing citizens for a very hot summer, and it did indeed get extremely hot. If you think it's going to be hot this summer, just wait. Some climate researchers predict Arizona will be unlivable by 2050. You're probably like, okay, hey, honey, we're probably not moving to Arizona now. We're going to be moving somewhere else, right? Well, hold on. Just because people predict that, I mean, they also predicted that Y2K was going to end the world. They also predicted that 2011 was going to be the end of the world. And if you go on to any random YouTube channel that talks about financial collapse or the end of the world, it was supposed to happen every year. They've been projecting that forever. Could it happen? Sure. But, when even researchers can get it wrong, not just crazy YouTubers, right? Not all climate forecasts are so dire, but experts say Arizonans need to prepare for extreme heat and related events. The problem is not centuries in the future. They say it's immediate. So they're creating this sense of urgency, which goes on par with this Green New Deal that the people in Washington on the one side of the spectrum are suggesting. Without interjecting my own personal feelings about this, let's just talk about the data, right? So if these predictions, which have been published by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation and a variety of sources, come true, the health of Arizonans could quickly be at risk, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Health Program website. One report even said Phoenix would become unlivable. So on top of the extreme heat, we're also kind of coming out of a drought, which where are we going to get the water? What are you going to do about the trees and all that, right? Well, with the sense of urgency they're creating, it's kind of interesting, right? So let's go ahead and talk about some of these things that you should know. So this was July 24th, 2018. Phoenix hits 116 degree Tuesday, making it the hottest day of 2018. Well, guess what? In the 1990s, when I was a kid, I remember, I don't remember the exact year, but News Channel 3, which was one of, they still have News Channel 3, but they went out there and they cooked an egg on the sidewalk. And everyone was like, did you know you could cook an egg on the sidewalk in Arizona? And that was a big thing. It was like 123 degrees. Okay, so 116 degrees. Even in the 90s, we used to get that. So this whole thing that all of a sudden we're getting hotter, if it was in the 130s, that's a big jump from 116. I mean, like I said, we reached 123 in 1990s. Okay, so this idea that we're getting hotter, I'm not so convinced. I mean, we haven't crept up into 130s, nor am I taunting nature to say, hey, bring it, we're ready. I'm not trying to do that either. I'm just saying we haven't seen anything that we haven't seen in the past. So this idea that we're getting hotter is a little bit of fear mongering, I feel. And I'm not sure where it's coming from. But you can see the hottest month that we have here, based on weather reports collected 1985 to 2015, the hottest month is July. So if you're not a big fan of heat, you're not going to like Phoenix from basically June, July, August, September, but they say May to September is when the real heat comes. For me, I'm going to tell you that, June, July, and August, it's going to be hot. September, probably too. You could probably lump that in there. So 4 months of extreme heat, and then you get 8 months of mild and sometimes even frost. In Phoenix, we're just talking about Phoenix. But across the state, you can get some different results. So this extreme heat thing, let's go ahead and keep dialing it in here. So you can see for some reason, no rain in June, then all of a sudden, for some reason, it's called monsoons. We get a lot of rain in July and August. Sometimes even more rain than we get the rest of the year. So isn't that kind of interesting? The hottest month also brings in some of the most rain. just things to throw out there for you guys to keep in mind. So Death Valley sets record for hottest month ever recorded on Earth. Now here's where they start to hype it up and they use credible evidence to suggest that. Preliminary results suggest the month's average temperature was 108 degrees. This edges out the previous record set in the valley at the same time last year when the average was 107. So Death Valley is getting hotter. So now they're starting to use some credible evidence to suggest this. So to all of you who want to move to Las Vegas is closer to Death Valley than Phoenix. A lot closer. Actually, Vegas can be pretty damn hot. So why is Arizona so hot? If you live in Arizona, you may be used to the heat already, but to tourists and visitors, Arizona can be unbearably hot, especially during the summer months. May to September are the hottest months for Arizona. If you've often asked yourself, why is it so hot here, there are several reasons. So one is the Laguna Mountains in California. So without the cool ocean air penetrating the inland because of the mountain ranges that are in between the ocean and here in all directions, that kind of stops the cool ocean air from reaching the valley floor here in not just Death Valley, but in Phoenix. If you fly from Phoenix to San Diego or Phoenix to Los Angeles, you'll see there's a lot of mountains there, and those mountains block that cool air. Arizona is also located downwind of the mountain. When it rains, the precipitations rise up and then cools and condenses into clouds. Those rain clouds then bring precipitation up the side of the mountain and then down, and when it goes down, it compacts and heats up. This makes the air drier than it was with the upwind of the mountains. So another thing to consider is this monsoon thing. The reason that we don't get the monsoons like we used to, and this is true, I can honestly say we used to get a lot more monsoons than we did, and this is completely appearing to be because of the city of the concrete jungle. So, and this was a theory from the 90s, and it seems to make logical sense. So there, you could say it is man-made in this regard. All the concrete and all the pavement have basically created this barrier that when the monsoon storm clouds start coming over the mountain, they just kind of stop there because of the extreme heat radiation off the ground. It just kind of blocks it. And this is a very accurate statement because in Hawaii, for example, the reason a hurricane could be heading directly into Hawaii for a direct hit, but because there's two massive volcanoes, Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa, those have pressure that push the hurricane away from it because of the mountain's pressure. So yes, this heat wave that's created from the concrete jungle down here in the valley has slowed down the intensity of the monsoons. At least that's a theory that seems to match up. So there's constantly high air pressure over Arizona because it's hot too. Due to the high pressure, air sinks down, which means clouds can't form. Since there's no rain, there's no humidity, but that just means dry heat faster without any humidity to absorb heat. This happens probably in June the most because in July, remember, we're getting this monsoon season. I've seen monsoons even recently where it's just super dumping tons of rain. We're talking a lot of rain here. You can see across the weather temperatures right now for March, right? You can see right now we're even starting to approach some interesting weather. It's going to be a little bit rainy on Tuesday, March 12th, but then look at this. Towards like early or late March, we're talking 83, 87, 82, and by March 20th, we're talking 91 degrees. So March 20th, they're expecting that high of a temperature. It's going to shoot up. Temperatures can move around really quickly. 65 the week before, 1 week later, you'll be right there at 82, 91, 89. So some jumping around temperatures, which makes people concerned also because why is it? But it's done this before, guys. This is nothing new. And if we wanted to talk about the actual hottest day in Arizona's history, you guys want to know that, right? So let's go ahead. The hottest day ever recorded in Phoenix on record, right? Just because it was on record doesn't mean it's in historic history the hottest day, but 28 years later in Phoenix, highest temperature still tops their thermometers, but it might seem cool compared to Arizona's hottest. So June 26, 1990, which is the date, now I know the date that I was referencing earlier, the hottest day was 1990, June 26. It was a very hot day. I remember that day because they were making a big deal about it, right? Actually, the city's hottest day ever. The mercury shot up over 122 degrees and making the all-time record set for Phoenix Sky Harbor. 28 years later, the record still stands. So yeah, they're saying that overall we're having more hot days, but it's not unique. I think they said they've only been collecting the data like this since 1985, but I'm sure they've gone back to the 30s when they were actually having thermometers in Phoenix. But to get this kind of data where they were getting this accurate of data, I believe they're saying 1985. They're saying the hottest year on record was in 2017. So that's something. But we're talking about on record, guys. So you can get that right there. Why does it take us to that guy's page? Wow. Anyways, so 122 degrees might be Phoenix hottest record or hottest day. But they're saying July 2017 was the hottest month overall average. If you want to know what the averages across Arizona are, in case you're looking to move to Arizona but don't want the extreme heat of Phoenix, you can see southern Arizona gets fairly decent weather in July. Bisbee, 87 degrees. Okay. Oregon Pipe Cactus Monument gets 103. So you can see why people probably settled in Bisbee back in the old days before the air conditioner, because it had a fairly reasonable heat index, right? Now, we're talking super hot if you're going along the Colorado River Valley. Bullhead City, 112. That's up there by Laughlin. And you got Lake Havasu City, which is just about as hot. That's out there on the Colorado River, just south of Bullhead City along the California-Arizona border, 109. Parker, same deal. Yuma, right there on the Mexico-Arizona-California border, 108. And then Phoenix, a little bit cooler than the Colorado River Valley. And then you have Central Arizona. You've got Casa Grande. Like I said, Casa Grande's a little bit hotter than Phoenix. Globe, Jerome, 91, and Jerome's decent. I mean, that's manageable. 91 in Payson, that's fairly decent. Prescott, 89. I told you guys, this is why people like Prescott. Prescott's really mild. It's modern. It's decent. Sedona's got a little bit hotter even than Prescott. And then northern Arizona, Flagstaff. Look at that. Mild in Flagstaff during the summers. But it's snow on the ground right now in Flagstaff. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on this Arizona extreme heat in the comments below. What do you guys think? Is it man-made? Is it getting hotter? Is it just more hype? Is there some truth to the fact it's getting hotter? What are you guys' thoughts? Anyways, click on one of these videos around here on the screen. Any one of these. We've got several different videos that you can watch about Arizona and Phoenix, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.